Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kentucky Small Business Development Center's weekly webinar. We're glad you're here today. And as we allow our attendees a few moments to join our event, I'd like to share some information about the Kentucky SBDC. As the only statewide nationally accredited program that provides entrepreneurial and business development services, the Kentucky Small Business Development Center plays a vital role in the Commonwealth's economic development by assisting entrepreneurs at every stage of their business life cycle. For almost 40 years, the Kentucky SBDC has assisted emerging and growing businesses by providing professional expertise, tools, and information necessary to make sound business decisions in a complex and ever-changing marketplace. We do this at no cost to our clients, thanks to the U.S. Small Business Administration, who co-sponsors the program, which is then administered by the University of Kentucky, who partners with regional universities, colleges, and local economic development agencies. We're also part of a national network, America's SBDC, with over 1,000 centers across the nation. To learn more, please visit us at KentuckySBDC.com, and there you'll find some additional resources to help start, fund, and grow your business. If you'd like to request some personal assistance, please email us at info@KentuckySBDC.com or give us a call at 1-888-475-7232. And as always, a recording of today's webinar will be emailed to you this afternoon. And if you look to the right of your screen, you'll see the chat feature there. If you have any questions for our presenter, you can post them there and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. So if you would, please give it a try right now and say hello and tell us where you're watching from. And I'm Dave Etkin. I'm the director of the Louisville Small Business Development Center. We're one of 13 centers across the Commonwealth of Kentucky, here to serve you. And with us today, we have one of our favorite presenters, which everyone seems to like to call Email Emily Ryan from Westfield Creative. And Emily's an email marketing expert and CEO of Westfield Creative. And they are a great marketing expert. They are Mailchimp Pro Partners and Mailchimp certified. And she, along with her sister, they work with a bunch of different types of clients and, work with e-commerce and really can help you move your business forward. So welcome, Emily. It's always good to see you, and I can't wait to get started today.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be back. I think this is my third time back, and this is one of the places I always say yes to because it's just so fun. And when David said, so they're asking for email Emily here, I said, okay, you got me. So I was excited about that. So thank you all for joining. Yes, please put in the chat where you're coming from. Louisville, Lexington, awesome. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, put your questions there. I will definitely try to get to them kind of right after the presentation. And today I'm really excited because we are, and hopefully you guys can see my slides, correct?
Yes, we're all good.
Awesome. I'm going to kind of dive right in. Today we're going to be talking about the most frequently asked questions for email marketing and for small business. I work with a lot of small businesses to really grow their business through the channel of email. It is so powerful. I really can't say it enough, but email works. I asked someone yesterday, I said, what's the first thing you do when you sit down at your laptop in the morning to start work? Most likely you pull up your email. Some people pull up Spotify or, a few other things, but email's not going anywhere. So it's extremely powerful as a marketing tool for your business. We've seen it do amazing things for, bringing in revenue, bringing in new leads. There's just so much you can do. So we're going to kind of dive in. I picked 4 questions that we're going to kind of go through. But first, in case you guys didn't, who is this person that's here? I'm Emily. I am a Mailchimp Pro partner, which means I started as a Mailchimp partner. And once you get to a certain level you manage a certain amount of clients, have a certain amount of certifications, you can become a pro partner. So we were really excited to get that kind of title. And we love Mailchimp. There are many email platforms. We've worked in a lot of different ones, but we use Mailchimp probably the most because I would say it is still the most popular email platform. And then I have 3 certifications from Mailchimp that I've done, 3 courses. So we have that as well. I'm based outside of Chicago, but I lived in New York City for many years, and I'm from North Carolina, and I went to school in Cincinnati, so not too far from you guys. And we've worked with a very wide range of clients because we have found that every business needs email marketing. Like I have worked with a pipeline company. I've worked with authors and lawyers. One of our clients right now is a sparkling beverage drink, which is really fun. Lots of e-commerce, beauty brands. Everyone needs, and the local coffee shop. I love when like a local company contacts me and we do local stuff too. That's who I am. And then we'll just dive in. So the 4 most asked questions, once we became Mailchimp partners and I started kind of saying that everywhere I went, I get a lot of the same kinds of emails every week. Can I ask you a quick Mailchimp question? How do I grow my email list? And that is truly the number one biggest question. How do I grow my email list? But we're going to go through these 4 because I think they're definitely the most popular ones. What day and time should I send my email campaign? Excuse my typo there. My open rates are really low. What can I do? And I know I should do email marketing. And this is like the same story from every small business owner we talk to. I know email's important, but I don't have the time. I'm running a business. I can't really afford to outsource to someone. What do I do? So that's kind of what we're gonna dive in to. Okay. So number 1 is how to grow your email list. And this truly is the most important thing you should be doing before you're really diving into an email strategy. Like if you don't have people on your email list, it's not going to really work. So I want to give you guys some actual useful ways you can grow your list. And the first one, if you do not have anyone on your email list, is of course to start with people that you know. So your family, your friends, reach out to them, send a quick email saying, listen, I'm starting a new monthly newsletter, or we're going to be sending some really cool discounts soon. So I want to make sure you're on my email list, and give them a link to sign up. People need to actually opt into your email list. So you want to make sure they're signing up. Don't just throw your entire Gmail contact list into Mailchimp, because it will get flagged, and there's all kinds of stuff that goes along with that. Even if it's only 50 people, those 50 people opted in, and so that's really what you want. So growing your email list, taking time to work on that and do different things to get more subscribers is really worth your time, I promise you. So again, I said start with your family and friends. The next thing I always suggest is to really look at your website and see where you can put opt-ins and sign-ups throughout your website. One of the biggest mistakes I see is I go to a website and the sign up for the newsletter is at the very bottom of the website, or somewhere that's just never going to be seen or scrolled down to. So I say, listen, we want a subscribe button or a banner at the top of your website, or we want a pop-up. Pop-ups work. Also, you may hear my kids over there, but pop-ups really work to grow an email list, and I'll talk about that. But the key is to have multiple different places on your website, not just one. People will throw up a subscribe to newsletter and they'll call it a day. You want to have a lot. And some of the biggest entrepreneurs and people that have these massive email lists, they have 8 or 9 different things on their website of where you can opt in. So highly recommend putting them throughout. And the other tip is to not just say subscribe to my newsletter, because that's pretty boring. You want to give something that excites people. Like if I see sign up below to get my weekly email marketing tips right to your inbox every Tuesday, or sign up below to get, a list of the upcoming events for for our business, I'm gonna sign up for that versus subscribe to my newsletter. I hope that makes sense. So make it visible, put them everywhere, and it will start to really grow your email list. And then pop-ups. Pop-ups are really interesting because, of course, they're annoying. No one likes to go to a website and you get a pop-up right away, but they absolutely work. They work so well. So what I always say is make sure if you're going to add a pop-up or your web developer, always put a delay, whether that's a 5-second delay, so people get to your website and it doesn't come up for a few seconds. Or you can put a delay where you say, okay, once the person scrolls 50% down the page, then pop up. So there are lots of options with timing so that you're not kind of being annoying. But a lot of people, what they will do with the pop-up is they will offer, sign up here and you'll get my free PDF of my email tips or whatever it is. Giving someone an incentive, a free lead magnet. It can be a very simple one-page PDF download, but giving them something in return for signing up is huge, and it's going to grow your list. Actually, for my own self, I made it a goal over Christmas break. I said, listen, I'm going to create a great PDF, and I'm going to see if I can really grow my list more through it. So I created 49 Mailchimp design tips. And if you actually go to my website, which is westfield-creative.com, you'll see a pop-up. And if you sign up, you'll get this free 49 Mailchimp tips. And I'm going to use that for a long time to hopefully get more people to my list. And it actually worked really well. Okay, so on your social media feeds, ask people to sign up and subscribe often. So if you're on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, once a week, post about signing up. Guys, I'm sending out a new email this Sunday, and it's going to be chock full of some really interesting things. Make sure you're on my list, or make sure you're on our email list. Subscribe here. And Mailchimp will give you a sign-up link that you can use on all your social channels. So posting often. I just kind of rediscovered Twitter, and then I started posting, make sure to sign up for my list on Twitter, and I got a handful of new subscribers on Twitter. So, utilize those social media networks. You can also create a landing page in Mailchimp where you can collect subscribers. So Mailchimp, and I do talk about Mailchimp a lot just because I use it and it works, but most of this applies to any email platform. They all have very similar features. So in Mailchimp, you can create a free landing page, and I'll show you what mine looks like, but it's just a link that they give you, and people go to that link and sign up for your list. So I will show you guys what that looks like. And then doing something like this, host a webinar. If you have any sort of niche or expertise in anything, if you are a local coffee shop, you could host a 30-minute webinar, showing how to make a great, latte or something. Hosting a webinar and getting people to register, you are collecting an email, which of course you have to be clear to them. Listen, we're collecting your email you're going to go on our email list, but it's a great way to grow your list quickly. And a 30-minute Zoom webinar is really not too hard to set up. And then the last thing, we talked about lead magnets, offering a free PDF, a video. Your thing that you're giving away can be something so simple. I mean, a 2-minute video tip on something that people sign up for, and then they're delivered maybe via email, a link to a video. And there are just a lot of little ways you can do it. I also recommend Facebook ads. I think they recommend like $5 a day is the lowest you could start with. And you do that for maybe 2 weeks, and you get people to click on your ad and go download your free PDF or guide or ebook. So lots of ways. But number one, grow your email list, super important. Okay. So number two, what day and time should I send my email campaign? I don't know why I wrote me on this several times, but I'm often dealing with kids and working at the same time. So we get this question a lot, and it's so interesting because people really want a concrete answer. They want me to say, Emily, or they want me to say, send your email Tuesdays at 10 a.m. But of course, like there is no exact answer for this. There is no perfect send time, and it's always changing. So the best advice I give is to utilize what's called A/B testing. It's where you test different times. Every time you send an email, you're going to test 9 a.m. and test 11 a.m. and see which has more people open the email. So the only way you can really drill down this answer is to start testing different days and times. I tell people, I say, listen, an email list that a realtor, if a realtor has an email list of say 5,000 real estate contacts, and then you have a small business, like this local coffee shop, they are two totally different groups of people that are going to be reading emails at different times. So it really depends on your audience. And I also just like to think, common sense wise, like when are you opening emails? When do you open, the marketing emails that you see? Sometimes I kind of like to think against the grain a little bit and say, okay, well, Sunday night, nobody sends emails Sunday night. Like, let's try that. Let's see if it works. So trying different things, testing. I will show you how to do A/B testing in Mailchimp, and it is so easy, and it's really fascinating to start seeing the results come in. So I think I just said that. Yeah, so every email list is different. There's no right answer. If I have a client that has nobody on their email list and we have no data and I just have to pick something out of the air, kind of, I'll think about, kind of what they do, who their audience is. But sometimes I do love a morning, like a 10 a.m., 9:30, 10, 10:15 during the week. That is when people have sat down at their desk, are starting to work, and they have their email open. So 10 a.m., I think there is some research that in the US, that is like the most popular send time. Again, I would recommend testing it out. So 10 a.m., doesn't hurt to try. I have people that love sending at 7 a.m. so that when people wake up, it's like in their inbox. My only issue with that is it's in the inbox, but sometimes in the morning, I just quickly glance and then I just don't want to deal with it. So I would almost rather you wait a little bit till people are really awake and looking at your emails. I'm just making sure we don't have any new questions first. Okay, cool. And so question number 3, my open rates are really, really low. What can I do? So this is a big question too, and there are kind of a lot of answers that go along with this. There could be several reasons, and we always look at a couple different things. The very first thing to look at is your subject lines. Your subject lines of your email. People just don't realize how crucial and how important a great subject line is. It makes or breaks people. If someone's not going to open your email, then it's worthless. So really crafting an interesting and good subject line. We always recommend kind of keeping it short. So I think Mailchimp recommends under 9 words if you can. I mean, I like under 6 words. Actually, I sent an email for myself recently, and the subject line was, can I ask you a favor? And it was literally asking, I wanted people to take this survey. But it had like one of the highest open rates for my own emails in a long time, because it was like, yeah, people wanted to see what I was going to ask them to do. So check your subject lines. Don't be afraid to use an emoji in your subject line, or at the end or at the beginning. Not every time. We never recommend like having an emoji every time unless your business is very fun and cutesy. But every once in a while, an emoji really helps your emails stand out. And I can show you some examples of that. And I'll share my screen in just a second. And then once we look at the subject line, the other thing that's really important, if people aren't opening your emails, it could be that there is a problem with the deliverability of your email. It could be going to spam, and that is a big problem. So there is a lot of stuff that we have to do to make sure our clients' emails are not landing in spam. And spam is different than, we get asked a lot about the promotions tab in Gmail. You have a promotions tab, and a lot of times emails will end up in that promotions tab. There's not much you can do about that because it's a promotional email. It's a marketing email, and Gmail is very smart. So unfortunately, if your email's landing in promotions, there's not much there. But on the spam side, we're going to look to make sure your domain is authenticated. And this is something you do in Mailchimp that takes maybe 5 minutes. And it's extremely important for helping you end up not in the spam folder. It involves, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just so I can show you guys. 1 second here. Hopefully you guys can see. So I'm actually in Mailchimp. For those of you that use Mailchimp, hopefully this is helpful. Mailchimp has a tab, websites, and then domains. And you're gonna, this is a client of mine, Cladwell, and they gave me permission to speak about them, but you'll see here, they are authenticated. That is different than if it says verified. Verified is one thing, but you want to authenticate your account. So the way that you would do this, normally this would not say authenticated. You will simply click this button, and it's going to give you two kind of, I call them codes, but they're really records. And you're going to just simply insert those records into your domain hosting. So your domains may be hosted by GoDaddy or Bluehost, whoever you pay each month to host your domain name. You have to insert these two records into your domain, and your web developer can do it. Mailchimp actually gives you very easy instructions to do it. And then you're authenticated, and it really helps your emails stay out of the spam folder. So we do that. And then there is a lot of stuff that goes along with, I'm going to just stop sharing real quick. There we go. There's a lot more that goes along with spam. Simply making sure your emails are full of interesting content, like relevant. Spam filters are really smart, and they can see when an email is spammy. And a lot of times they can see if you're sending to a list of people that have not opted in, and that, you know, you have these 5,000 names and they're all ones you purchased. They can see that. So the key is to send interesting emails that people are opening and clicking on. If people are engaging in your emails, it's going to tell Gmail, oh, people are liking this. They're liking this. So it's not spam. I read something the other day that if you ask people to reply to your email campaign, they can reply right there to your email. That really helps the spam filters. And it improves what's called your sender score. So Gmail kind of gives everyone this special secret score that says, okay, Emily's a good, honest sender. This person does not have a great sender score. So we're going to, until they kind of clean up their act, they're going to go into spam. And you can apparently retrain these spam filters over time to, you know, say you're getting really low open rates. You can retrain those spam filters by only sending to a segment of, say, the most engaged subscribers or the people that are opening your emails. Just send to them for a couple months, and it will retrain those filters. I hope this makes sense. But there's so much that goes into deliverability. Start with your subject line, and then go from there. Okay. And yeah, that's what I just said. And then I always ask myself with the subject line, like, would I open this? You know, really think about that. Like, would I open this email? And it's also very important that you're honest. A lot of people will do a subject line that just to get someone to open it, and they won't be so honest about it. So they'll say, I actually saw a subject line recently that said, "Don't open this." Of course, you're going to open it. But the key is you really want to make sure you're being honest, because if people open it and it's not what they're expecting, they might unsubscribe or they might mark it as spam or whatever. So honest, but still interesting. Okay. And then I know I should do email marketing. This is the last question. I know I should do email marketing, but I don't have the time. And I think this is probably the most asked question besides growing your email list. Small business owners don't have the time to sit down and create amazing emails. And I totally get that. Or you don't have the funds to maybe outsource it. So what can I do just to make it easier? So my first piece of advice is to keep your emails as simple as possible. Do not overthink. People think you need this long newsletter with all these sections of content, and you've got to have 18 things in your email. The days of the long newsletter, I promise you, are over. So I'm just showing a couple examples here, and these are kind of different companies that maybe aren't sending a newsletter, but they're very simple. It's one idea, one image, logo, your headline, an image, a couple lines of text. We have a client that is adamant that we don't do over 2 sentences of text for their email, and then a big button to whatever their call to action is. Sign up, register, click here. And Urban Sitter is a great example of that, because they do really well with email, and their emails are super simple. In the Peach Truck, which is a business I love, they do the same thing. Very, very simple, kind of short emails, but it's always a great story, and it doesn't take me long to read. If I see an email, it's so long, I'm not going to read it. I'm probably not going to have the time. So first things first, really keep it simple. And again, more examples. Big graphic. A lot of times we just create a great, thanks Danielle for the nice comment. We just create a great graphic sometimes, and then a button. You just don't need a lot, I promise you. You do have to be careful though doing just one big graphic, because if the graphic doesn't load in certain cases for people, if there's bad Wi-Fi and they open your email and the image doesn't load, it's a problem. So you always want to weave in text within your actual email client, within Mailchimp, doing a text section. So it's not all one image. It's a big no-no. Okay, so these are 2 examples I love as well. I love this one from this pizza company, because this email's just meet the women behind the pizza. And that's what I want to see. I want to hear the story behind your business, not just what you're selling all the time. Tell me why you got started. Do an email about this is how it all started. This is our story. This is the first time, or one of our biggest failures was this and how we got through it. Telling the story behind your business is so important. And just another example. This is again is e-commerce example, so maybe not accurate, but you can see the layout. It should not take you much time. I use a program called Canva, canva.com, and it's free, and you can create the most amazing, simple graphics. Create one graphic, text, and a button. And that's literally an email. And then just keeping your content really simple as well. So what do you like to read? People will click on anything that kind of makes you feel something. So that's why on Instagram, you see a cute puppy, you're going to like the image. So I always try to think about that. What's going to evoke emotion in someone? And then what aspect of your business might people respond to? One thing I actually love doing is just starting to save emails that come in. If you love an email that comes in, save it in a folder. You guys should see how many emails we have saved. But start noticing what things you read on a weekly basis and why you're reading them. What is it about that email? Is it because it's really clean and simple? Is it because they deliver great content every week? Like, what is it? So just start noticing that. Again, include valuable articles and resources. A lot of people do kind of a weekly or monthly. These are three links I love this week, and they'll include links to different articles or whatever. And I actually have a weekly email, and that's pretty much what I do, which you can get on my website as well. But just a simple list, like collect a couple links over the week as you're working, and people love that. Okay. And then, your goal should always be to deliver some sort of value to people, to give them information. If you're an expert in something, giving tips, like people love tips. Anything that can get people engaged or clicking. I sometimes in my email will include a 2-minute like Mailchimp tip, like video tip. So that's kind of fun. Asking people to reply, saying, click back to this email and tell me what you thought about this, or tell me what you're up to. We'd love to hear from you. And I think we talked about a great story and keeping things really light and fun. Emails do not have to be so serious. I mean, we've worked with some very serious companies, and email is still a place that's like personal. It's coming into your personal inbox. So there is still room to kind of just be a little more casual and lighten things up a little bit. So that is, and Canva, I cannot say enough about Canva. I have used it since the beginning of my business. We use it every day. If you want to create great graphics, I mean, so many different templates for social media, for Facebook ads, for email. It's amazing. So those are 4 questions. Again, you can find me. My website's westfield-creative.com. And then on Instagram, Emily Ryan Likes. I'm on Instagram a lot. So that is it for the slides. And I would love to pass it to David for some questions.
So we've got plenty of time for questions. So you guys out there, here's your opportunity to start posting and really dig into some specifics. And I'm going to ask the first question. So I've seen this done, and I'm not sure if it's a good idea or how you would do it in Mailchimp, but is there a way to use your list to put like your recipient's first name in the subject line? Like it would say like, hey, Dave, I need you to do whatever, or ask you to, how would you do that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Here, I can press stop slides, right? Or should I leave it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Absolutely. And that's something people do a lot. And I recommend personalizing your subject name. So you're going to use the first name merge tag in your subject line. And that is simply, I just did this the other day so I could share. I'm going to just show you, just so you know. That's such a great question. And I think it's really important. So I am going to show you. Let me just show you. So the first name merge tag is literally like a little code that will populate that person's first name when you go to send your email. These things need to be tested. If you're going to use merge tags, you always want to make sure that they are working. So you'll see here, this is a first name merge tag right here. So I'm just going to copy that, and then the subject line, so we could put that here. And what will happen when we send this email, it'll come up as Emily, check out the new Outfits app. So that's literally the whole first name merge tags. Of course, there's last name too. There's a million different types of merge tags. We've done birthdays. Birthdays are a fun merge tag because it'll populate like, hey, you could do, hey, Emily, we see your birthday is on 9/12, whatever it is. So absolutely, you can do that.
So just to build on that while we're talking about these merge tags, it's like when you are like adding to your list in Mailchimp, normally you would maybe capture first name, last name, and email address. Are there other things that you would want to categorize and use, or is that enough?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I tend to always just make sure I have the first name and the email. You really, really want to capture the first name for many reasons. The only time, you need to really capture other stuff is if you're looking to do like the birthday campaign, or if there's any other information like, your city or state. I do have clients that have tons and tons of merge tags that they collect. But I think honestly, like as long as you're getting first name and email, I'm good with that.
Okay. So here's a question from Maisie. Hello, Maisie. Maisie's an awesome digital marketer, so I'm glad she's here today. She wants to know, is a monthly newsletter okay? Is it, weekly better, or what's the frequency there?
That is a great question. I think the norm with so many companies is to do a monthly newsletter. What I have seen is that sending something once a month doesn't quite like move the needle. I mean, every 30 days, it's just not. I think consistency is so important. So if you can only do once a month, do once a month. But I would say really try to step it up a little bit if you can. Twice a month would be great. I love a weekly email. I love like every 2 weeks. But again, like if you don't have the bandwidth, sending once a month is better than nothing. I just don't see much happening with people that, and we have clients that want just one email a month. They're very worried they're going to annoy people, and that's usually their reasoning, which I promise you they will not. But it doesn't. I don't think it does much.
Okay, and then if you're increasing that frequency, would you, like you mentioned earlier, do less content as opposed to like the giant monthly newsletter? Yeah.
So you could do one newsletter type email, and then you could do a shorter, maybe an interesting like blog feature about one of your blogs. You can actually set up an automated blog email that every time you post a new blog, it sends your list an email. It's called an RSS feed. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I would say weave in like a simple email in between your newsletter.
Gotcha. Caton says he has a hotel, and what quick ideas can you give him to promote, engage more guests to come to and stay with him?
That's a great idea. So, I think for that, like location is important, like targeting people who are traveling to your area. I would almost start with collecting people who are interested in your area via maybe like a Facebook ad, because Facebook ads you can really target by location. So really getting people on your list that are interested, first of all. And then there's a lot you can do with hotels, like, not thinking about selling the hotel, but like what makes your area exciting? Why are people traveling there? Like what are some stories, like feature some really fun things to do, some great restaurants. We had one client, and they would send out like what's coming up every Saturday in their town. So people love to know like events that are coming up and fun things to do. So don't think as much about your hotel. Think about like the area and what's drawing people, why people are coming to the area.
Right. That's cool. That's great. Vanessa wants to know, she says her Mailchimp account was not authenticated and she's not understanding their instructions. Any additional resources for Mailchimp specifically to help her out?
Yeah. So I will set up domain. It's literally set up domain authentication. If you Google set up Mailchimp domain authentication, I'm going to put it right here in the chat right now. I think it came up. There it goes. It'll give you very simple instructions, but it's simply creating they give you two CNAME, they're called CNAME records. And you have to just insert these into the hosting, the DNS. It sounds complicated, but it's not, the DNS hosting for your domain. So it's literally copying and pasting those into your hosting. If you have any issues, Mailchimp support can really help you with this sort of thing, or DM me on Instagram and I can see what I can do. But I promise you, it's not too difficult.
Yeah, just as a little comment, I've seen several people say that they're already DM'd you on Instagram today. So
Awesome! Okay, good.
So,
Might take me a few, but I'll get there.
Yeah, pop out. Yeah. So if you have different types of clients that you serve, do you recommend creating a different lead magnet for each segment of your list?
It's a great idea. Ideally, you always want to create, personalize your content for different people. And you could absolutely have several different lead magnets. I do like the idea of having one that's kind of general and overall, just because it's easy to set up and automate. But if you have very distinct, different groups of people, then you will need different opt-ins, and then you'll have to set up kind of several different automations to deliver those opt-ins, which is very doable. And in Mailchimp, you should really utilize tags to tag those different groups of people.
So just since we're on the subject, would you just kind of explain to folks what a lead magnet is and give some examples so people are kind of on the same page on that?
Yeah, and there really are so many names for it. Like, people call it a freebie, they call it an opt-in, instant download, but a lead magnet is essentially that. It's something you're giving someone to draw them like a magnet in as a lead. So it's kind of an incentive. So you're saying, sign up here and you'll get my free PDF. That's a lead magnet.
So what would be good for, I don't know, let's go back to Kate in the hotel. If he was going to do a lead magnet, give us some ideas of what that would be.
Yeah. So where is your hotel located? I might do a 10, click subscribe here and you'll get my top 10, my top 10 list of must-do places to visit in this town or in this region. You could create a great list. I would probably download that if I was visiting. Think about what you would want if you were going to sign up. What would I want to get from you? Mm-hmm. I want tips and tricks and free advice. Gotcha. But it can be very simple. I have a friend who's a social media manager, and I said, if you just created 10 Instagram tips for small businesses, done. And it's, sorry about that. It's a super simple way to grow your list.
Yeah. So Dwayne wants to know about, can Mailchimp be used to post on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah. Hi, Dwayne. So yeah, absolutely. Mailchimp actually has a whole section where you can create social posts right in Mailchimp that post. But you can, when you're creating your email, it asks you, I have a toddler, you guys, but it can ask you if you want to post your email on, I think, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So yeah, you can always connect that and post your email. And I usually do that with every email I send.
Gotcha.
It's always interesting.
Yep. So Ada asks, I have a Squarespace site, but interfacing with Mailchimp has been challenging. Are there instructions for dummies that I could understand?
Yeah, and you know what? That is a tricky one. Squarespace has their own email platform, and I think that's why it's tricky. So Squarespace email platform is worth checking out. It's very simple. You don't get a lot of the additional features that you get with Mailchimp, but you could check that out. Or there is a Mailchimp integration when you hook up your form. I don't know if you're talking about your sign up form. There is a Mailchimp integration that should easily connect. And you can always use a program called Zapier, Zapier. Mm-hmm. And Zapier incredible. Like, it allows you to connect two totally different programs together. So you can connect a Google Doc with Mailchimp, or you can connect, what was one I did recently? There was a weird one I did recently, but you can set up these what's called zaps to connect and make all this crazy stuff happen. But yeah, if you Google Squarespace Mailchimp connection, there is absolutely an integration, and it's a little tricky, but it's there.
Mm-hmm. So along those same lines, does Mailchimp and Shopify, do they play well together?
That's a tricky question too. They do work together, yes. So there is a great integration for Shopify. It's called ShopSync. You just install this. It's an app within Shopify called ShopSync. Install that. It connects to your Mailchimp right away. Shopify also has its own email platform now too. So everyone's getting in on the game. But we have many Shopify clients that we use Mailchimp with, and it's great because you can track the revenue from each email. And again, in Mailchimp, you'll go to integrations, and you'll see everything there.
Awesome. I think that's about all the questions we have now. Does anybody have anything else that we need to discuss out there? Now's your chance. Don't let Email Emily get away.
Thank you so much for everyone being here. This is just super fun. Oh, I was going to show you a landing page really quickly.
Oh yeah, great idea.
So you guys can see. And here, share my screen. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. Mm-hmm. And then this is a very simple landing page that I actually need to update. And you'll see Email Emily. I just updated that thanks to David. I'm going to owe him,
all the royalties.
Yep. But this is a landing page, and it's literally a link I can give people. And I have people sign up. And again, I always try to make the buttons, like, instead of just like subscribe or click here, make them fun. Like, sure, sign me up, or yes, I'm in. But this just collects their email right into my Mailchimp. And then this actually will send them an email right away to welcome them, the welcome email. But in Mailchimp, you'll just simply click on this create button in the top left. And then instead of clicking email, you can click landing page. And there are so many easy, cool templates that you can use. You can put a background photo behind the sign up box, which is really cool. But there are a lot of great uses. Like if you wanted to hold a contest and you just needed a quick landing page, it's essentially a one-page website is what a landing page is. So highly recommend. You can have, they're free with your Mailchimp account, and you can do as many landing pages as you could ever possibly wish. Speaking of landing pages, I have to mention I'm doing a big Mailchimp event on March 18th on a Thursday with 6 Mailchimp women partners who are all total experts. And I'm going to just show you our landing page real quick. And I'll send this to you guys to sign up right now. But it's going to be really cool. It'll be similar to this because we're going to be answering your Mailchimp questions. And I'm going to just grab the link, like you're looking at my account here. But we'll just grab this link here. And this is my landing page that I created. This is a background, a Mailchimp Zoom background, actually, that I use. And I created this little background for my event with a button that leads to Zoom to register. So another great use of a landing page. But I will, I'm going to put that here in case anyone wants to join. I just threw the link in for you guys to save. And I love landing pages. I love designing them and making them. So there you go.
You can manage your lead magnets from those landing pages as well. They'll handle
totally.
That.
Yeah. Create one for your, I think I have one for my lead magnet.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
So it looks like Shannon popped in and asked, any ideas for a national e-commerce children's clothing boutique for a weekly email newsletter?
Oh my gosh, yes. You're the perfect candidate for a weekly newsletter. E-commerce. I mean, e-commerce works so well for email marketing. So anyone that sells a product should be utilizing email. What I would say every week, I don't know if you're utilizing a blog, but if you could, send an email out with, something about one of your products and maybe a blog feature and maybe a discount, a 10% discount. Discounts just work so well, and you can change it up a little bit every week, like, $5 off this week, 10% off next week. Telling the story about your business and why, what you sell. There are so many things you could do. I'm trying to think of some examples. Children's clothing. Yeah, I mean, one piece of clothing out of your store and just feature that, and the whole email is about that one piece of clothing. And then click here to see more. Click on this button to see more. Lots you can do.
Okay. One more frequency question. That's a hot topic on everybody's mind. How many times a week, if you're doing weekly, would you send an email?
How many times a week? That's a great question. That's something that you need to test again. There are brands out there that send an email every day. Like if you look at J. Crew, they send an email every single day. But they're also a humongous brand. I think you really want to look at the data. You may not need to send more than once a week. So test out a few different things and see how the numbers look. If people are starting to unsubscribe, you want to pull back, or try 2 times a week and see if your revenue's going up, if your numbers are going up. Test.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think that's all. So,
and then I did see, how do you get Mailchimp certified from Listen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you should sign up Mailchimp and Co. It's called Mailchimp and Co. And it's a community for freelancers and agencies. It's totally free to join. Once you join, you'll hear about becoming a partner. But I think you have to have maybe 10 Mailchimp clients to become a partner, like connected to your account. And there's all kinds of resources and stuff. So Mailchimp and Co. You should check out.
Good. All right. Just a quick look here. Yeah, I think we're good. Well, this is great. I had a lot of my questions answered. I made a lot of notes while we were talking, and then everybody kind of.
It's a lot of information, but
yeah.
Yeah, Zapier. Yeah, Zapier's great. Awesome.
Yeah. So people should reach out to you, Emily, if they have any other questions. How's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah. So our website again is westfield-creative.com. Westfield is the street I grew up on in North Carolina. And on Instagram, Emily Ryan Likes, or on Twitter, Emily Ryan Tweets on Twitter. But that's probably the quickest. Social media way is probably the quickest, sadly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to help anytime.
Okay. So just a reminder, we'll send you guys a recording of today so you can watch it multiple times, and we'll also include the slides so you can have all this information and Emily's contact info. And don't forget to sign up for Emily's next event if you want to jump in more.
Yes. She Who Mailchimps. It'll be fun. So, thank you, David. Thank you guys so much.
Emily.
I really appreciate it.
Yep. Everybody have a good Wednesday. We'll see you next week. And next week will be big because we have Kathy Fayok coming on. If you've ever remotely thought about writing a book, she is going to teach you how to do that. And a book is one of the new business cards, way to get some new business. So please check it out. So we'll see you next Wednesday, everyone. See you, Emily.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.